Good morning, everybody. We are live.
Hello, hello. How's everyone doing?
What is it? The second week now in January already?
Yeah, we're on January 9th. This is this is the time when people drop off of their New Year's resolutions.
I know. It's like
So,
the first week, everyone's going strong. The gyms are full, and after that, it's like
yeah, yeah,
deserted.
yeah. So yeah, I figured today's topic would be perfect.
It is.
So how has your New Year been going?
It's been going well, except for last night. I had one of those nights where you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to use the restroom, and then you're just sitting there wide awake in bed, just thinking and thinking. And that was
Yeah.
until my alarm clock went off this morning. I was just wide awake, just thinking of all the things I want to discuss today.
Well, I can't wait to hear them.
Yes.
I had that same problem 2 nights ago. I just woke up. It was at 3:30, and
Yeah.
I couldn't go back to bed. And I was just like, well, might as well just get up and start doing stuff. I don't know. This is like one of those things, you know. So,
Right.
what were your New Year's resolutions? Have you set any, or have you done anything, or?
I did, as I mentioned earlier, part of the thing is not watching as much TV, reading more books,
Good move.
which
Uh-huh.
which is good because binge watching TV so negative, and then you just like waste so much time and you're not productive. So reading a
Mm-hmm.
book, also being more organized and holding myself
Mm-hmm.
more accountable. I make lists so I can actually go to the gym and fit time in for everything I want to do every single day. So those have been my biggest things this year, is making sure I hold myself more accountable for going to the gym, you know,
Uh-huh.
the house more organized and clean. And it feels good for me and it's satisfying when I make a list and I complete that item and I check it off. I don't know why
Yes.
that
Yeah.
check is so satisfying to me.
Yeah. The check is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned cleaning the house. Brenda and I started tidying up our house. We watched the Netflix show, The Art of Tidying with Marie Kondo,
Yep.
and it's amazing. Like the way she does everything, we got so excited and so motivated. So we just put that show on TV and like had it on our computer as we were like going through our clothes and then looking at it. And for those that don't know, she has you like bring all the clothes out on the bed and then hold it and say like, does this spark joy inside of you? You know, and if it does, you can keep it. If it doesn't, you say thank you for everything you've done, and you put it in the clothes that you're going to get rid of.
Right.
And then she shows you this like special way to fold your clothes, that you put it in your drawers and you can see everything instead of like one clothes on top of the other. It's all lined side by side. So we did that, and I'm like, wow, it feels amazing. You
It
know,
is.
it just feels like I've let go of so much stuff, and now the closet's so clean and so tidy, and the drawers are perfect. And like then the next step was we moved into the kitchen and did the same thing in there, and like our whole top floor of our house is just like super tight. We know exactly where everything is, and it just feels wonderful. You know?
That is an
Yeah.
amazing feeling. And one of the things that she taught me is when you fold your socks, I used to roll them inside of each other. And her thing is no, 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 don't do that. It stretches them out. You have to
Yeah.
like fold them and then you just lay them in a drawer. So when you open, you see all your socks just lying.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty next level stuff there.
Very
So.
cool. So you guys added that in. What else have you added for your New Year's resolution?
Well, I mentioned to you before, and maybe last week, that I'm not drinking coffee anymore, and I don't know how long I'm going to do that. I think I'll probably go all the way through January, but I've just been doing water and the mushroom tea, you know, the Four Sigmatic stuff that I mentioned,
Yeah.
and it's going really well. There was like a dip in my energy, of course, like the first 3 or 4 days where I was kind of cranky, but now I feel like my energy is settling out, and I'm sleeping a lot, a whole lot. I told you that before too, but. Um, We'll see. We'll see how that goes. If it's something I continue, but I definitely want to continue, hopefully for the end of the month. You know, but I'm digging it so far.
Good. It's always fun to challenge yourself. Try something new, remove something, and just kind of tweak
Yeah,
the routine. So good.
yeah. All right. Well, you ready to dig in?
I am, and I have to say, like, I was actually surprised when we were like discussing today's topic to hear that only 8% of people actually complete their New Year's resolution. Like that blew my mind.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That was like only 8% of people that set a New Year's resolution actually completed. Like that is insane.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what do you think it is? I'm curious what you found or what you think.
Honestly, I think it's a combination of things. I think people have this thing where they just want to follow the trend. They do it for the wrong reason.
Uh
Is a
huh.
major one, I think, just cutting it, just really being vague, is just following the trend. Two is not being realistic. I think people just go like crazy
Yes.
and set like these huge goals, and they're not like seeing something like the magic pill that's just gone, and then they just give up on it. So
Right.
just to be like very short, those are like the two main things I think people do that are the reasons they're not completing it. It's just
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a big one is we've fallen in love with instant gratification, you know? And as someone who's overweight, it took them a lifetime to get overweight and a lifetime of consistent bad habits. And they have an expectation that in 1 week, like I'm supposed to lose 30 pounds. And if I don't do this, then I'm going on to something else. I'm trying something else. This is not working.
right.
This is not working at all, you know? So they end up going back and yeah, they fall into the 90% or 91% or 92% that doesn't succeed, you know? So that's actually the first thing that I thought of was that people trying to change everything at once, you know, and setting unrealistic expectations. So like, let's say they start an exercise program, they start a diet, you know, they start saving money, they start like, you know, try to focus more on this or that or whatever. And it's like all these things, and that's just not the way it works. You know, it's like it's more about picking things that are achievable, you know, small, consistent habits that you repeatedly do over and over time. Ultimately, it's a behavior that we're focusing on and not so much that we need to focus on and not so much the result, you know? And I always like to think of the one thing, like what's the one habit I can do that makes everything else easier or unnecessary. So for me, it's going to the gym, right? It's a simple habit. I know that if I go to the gym, I feel good. And if I go to the gym, I'm much more likely to make a better decision around my food. And I'm much more likely to get to sleep on time. I'm much less likely to watch TV around things I don't like. But if I don't go to the gym, if I like start feeling a little tired and sluggish, I'll kind of negotiate a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I'll have some chocolate. Yeah, I'll have some of that. And like, I'll stay up a little later and be like, I wonder what's going on TV there, you know? Right. And it's just kind of this cycle effect, right? But if I just focus on this one thing, just go to the gym. Just go. I don't have to like it's not, just get there. Just get there, and like the rest of the workout will take care of itself. Just get there, and then everything else is like easier, unnecessary, you know? So it's like a snowball effect.
That is true. And it's so interesting that we like try to tell ourselves like, oh, one piece of chocolate, or we negotiate in our own heads like what we can get away with for the day. But you are right. Like when I go to the gym, it's more the idea that I work so hard. Hey, I know what it's like when I'm in the gym and I'm doing a workout and I'm like, oh, I can feel what I ate that I shouldn't have eaten, you know, like, so it's insane what just a simple workout which I always tell people, I know it's hard getting started. I know it's hard getting there, but man, that payoff when you leave, you feel like $1,000, man. Like when you leave and you're like, I'm so happy I came in. So it really is very, very helpful to get that gym workout in every single day. I'm the same way. I need it. I have to start my day with it. I feel so much better. My head's clear. I'm more positive. So I agree on that one.
Yeah, it's the hardest part is just putting on the shoes and putting at least one shoe into the gym.
Yes.
Like that's the hardest battle. Gym could be your living room floor for, you know, it could be anything, which kind of leads us to the next thing, which is like when you do find a habit you want to go after, is to not make it too big, you know? So like we've got people, this is the 90% of the people that we're talking about here who fail. They've been eating a standard American diet. They've been not exercising. They've been sitting in the chair a long time. And they're scrolling through Instagram and they're seeing all these people with like bikini bodies and six-pack abs. And they're like, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to work out 4 hours today. I'm going to run 10 miles tomorrow and I'm going to get fit. And like, whoa. And you know what? They do it. And the next day they're like hurting so bad. And they're like, I'm done. I'm never doing this again. Right. That hurts. Right. So it's like, the solution is just, again, coming back to making a habit that's achievable. So if you've never worked out before, you know, it might be a good idea to just say, okay, well, I'm going to start with like 10 minutes of movement or 5 minutes of movement. And, you know, a good place to start is with some of these workouts that I'm posting in Facebook. They're super simple. You don't need anything most of the time. And sometimes it's just nothing more than a band and you can get done in like 10 minutes, you know, you can do them from anywhere. You don't have to go. But like if you did those consistently, every day, like you would get massive results, you would build momentum, and then sooner or later you'd be like, oh, I kind of feel like I want a kettlebell now. I want a dumbbell. Like let's kick it up a notch. But like, and same thing with nutrition. You know, people go from a standard American diet to like, oh, I'm going to count everything, count my calories, and be precise, and I'm going to follow this meal plan exactly like it needs to be followed. It's like, no, slow. You know, so like with our food, we're real big on encouraging people to just keep things super simple early on. You know, protein, vegetables, good fats, lots of water, done.
Exactly.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, go. And like, that's it.
Right.
You know, if you can focus on that, you'll start to get that feel good gym feeling. And then you're much more in power to say no to the things that don't serve you. No to that Coke, you know, no to negative people, no to sitting on the couch. It's because you start feeling good, you know?
And I'm happy you brought that up because I hear that from a lot of people in the community is, hey, it's snowing, or I can't do, you know, I don't have time to go to the gym. And the best thing is keep it easy. Like you said, with the food plan, keep it easy. Same with the gym. You can do it at home. I love that you addressed that. That's something I wanted to bring up is I was the same way. I didn't have a gym membership for a year, and I would literally YouTube different videos. I would, you know, get my own little stretch bands. After a while, like you said, I worked my way up to kettlebells. So there's so many exercises you can do at home. It's insane. So definitely, and you can make it happen every single day.
Yeah. And that's a good point too, because there's like a little voice inside of most of our heads, you know, that's like looking for a way out, you know, like for instance, I've noticed some comments, you know, because we've been doing this for like 6 years now. I've noticed some comments that people will make and they'll say like, I saw the recipe, but I do not have cinnamon. I can't do this plan. I can't do it. I cannot do it. Or I saw you doing exercises and you did something like a lunge and I can't do that because of my knee and I can't do exercise. And it's like, well, hold on. Like you're focusing on what you can't do. Like what can you do? Could you possibly do the recipe without the cinnamon? Or are there other exercises that you've been shown that you can do? Like just do something and get some momentum and then keep going forward. You know, and that's the main thing is finding something that is obtainable and achievable so you can do it consistently. And that way you give yourself a small win. Yeah. And if you win on day 1 and you win on day 2 and win on day 3, then you can call yourself a winner. You know what I mean? And you just have momentum and you'll just keep going. And that's the idea. Just get a little bit better each day. You know, like Henry, did you see that test, that before and after pitch he posted for like a year?
Incredible. Honestly, like I could not even express like how powerful that image was to see that.
Yeah. So Henry did not go like, oh, I'm going to run a marathon today. Henry was like, I'm just going to do a little bit more today than I did yesterday. I'm just going to eat a little bit better today than I did yesterday. You know, and he just did that consistently and he gained momentum and he changed his behavior and he focused on that behavior more than he focused on the result. He let go of those expectations and he just changed and stayed consistent. Right. And that's the key. That's where true change happens.
Yes. And his wife is on board too, Carol. And you know what's amazing with her is she saw her husband losing so much weight and changing so fast. And she was slower. She was losing only 5 pounds in the beginning. And so instead of being discouraged, they laughed about it. And then they just realized, you know what? I am different. I have a different body and it takes time. And here she is, you know, how many years or months later, and she's lost 5 pounds every single month. And she looks amazing, younger, healthier. So it just shows you that we cannot compare ourselves to other people because everybody's different. And people need to realize it is a process. It doesn't happen, you know, so stick with it because it's incredible. Like the change that we're seeing on the community is mind blowing. And I absolutely really, really enjoy seeing those come up.
Yeah, I love that. And I think another good thing to point out there is like, there will be plateaus, you know, we're all different. Like some people are coming from different contexts and some people will do the 30-day challenge and lose 30 pounds. And some people will only lose 5 pounds, but like month 2 or 3 or 4 is like a different story. You know, it's just a matter of staying consistent. And I notice this with guitar too. Like I'll be playing guitar, like there's one song I'm trying to master right now. And I feel like I could practice every day for like an hour and I'll only get like a little bit better. But like there's like a 2-month, 3-month period. If I keep doing it, then I get a whole lot better. It's just, there's just different plateaus and parts that you get. And the same thing comes with weight loss. The same thing comes with changing any habit. It does not a straight line, right? It's all over the place, right? Yeah. And just, we want to get used to that. Yeah. So next one, I kind of already mentioned this, but like a big problem is that we're so focused on that result and not focusing on the ritual that it is that we need to change or really to create to establish that result. You know what I mean? So I can't stress that enough. It's a behavioral thing. It's a habit thing. And more often than not, it's a process. It's not the outcome that we're after. It's a process and it's a journey. And it's just a matter of staying on that journey.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I agree. And part of it too is honestly, people, you know what? It's okay. Be forgiving with yourself. I know some people will fall off for a day or whatever. Like, we're all learning. And so the biggest thing you can do is forgive yourself and not give up. The biggest thing is learning that this is not just a little fad, not something you're just trying short term, but this is going to take time. You're learning to be, perfect your new lifestyle. This is going to be long term. So
yeah.
I want to just expand that. I hope people realize, and don't be hard on yourself, be forgiving, that just learn. If you ate something that didn't feel good, understand why, and then learn not to do it again, or remove them. Don't keep them around you. So that's the thing I want to add on that one.
Yeah, that's a huge one, because we will make mistakes, and it's like, well, how are we viewing that mistake? Are we saying, oh, now I know what not to do, and I can change some things to make a better decision moving forward? Or would we go back to that voice in the head that says, like, see, you'll always be like this. You are a mess up. You'll never be good. And then it wins and it takes over. And it's like, well, yeah, go ahead and drink the Coke now because we know who you are.
Right.
Not good. Not a good idea. So, and you kind of touched on my number 4, which is not changing the environment. So it's one of the main things that we talk about at the beginning of our programs are to get rid of the foods that are not serving you. Get rid of the sugar, get rid of the toxic fats, the candies, because your best self-defense against those foods is to not have them in your home. It's really hard to change your food habits if you're always surrounded by negative, trashy junk food. It's really impossible to be a positive person if you're always surrounded by negative people. It's hard to do anything if you're surrounded by something that doesn't serve you. It's like, you want to quit drinking, you're always surrounded by alcohol, it's not going to work. It's really tough. So changing your environment is huge. And like, changing your food environment is, I think, first and foremost to making someone feel good.
Right.
It's huge.
And one thing is, I don't know if this is too, is just communicating with, letting the people around you know what you're doing. That's also going to hold you accountable. Is not only do you have this amazing group that's here to support you and cheer you on, but also let your loved ones know, your family. That way you don't feel the pressure when you go to social events or dinners to eat what everyone's eating, or you feel embarrassed, because you should be proud that you're taking health into consideration. You're wanting better for yourself. So I think a thing that people should do for their New Year's resolutions is talk to people, let them know what you're doing, what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah. And another thing I want to highlight here is, a lot of people, one of their issues is their mind environment, and they're so distracted all the time with all these texts and notifications and pings. And I think it's really hard to change anything from the mind perspective if we're always distracted. So I really encourage people to be disciplined with their phone. Like, if we're using the phone as an alarm clock to wake up, and then the first thing we do when we wake up is we have a bunch of texts and a bunch of emails and a bunch of pings on Facebook or Instagram or something like that. If that's the first thing we go into, then we're distracted from the very get-go of our day, and we're going to be distracted all day. And we're going to be kind of making decisions based off what this thing is programming us to do, as opposed to like having some clear space, being like, this is what I want, this is how I'm going to do it, reflecting on how we want the day to go. It's just so important in this day and age with so much technology around. So really want to highlight that. And let's see, the last one I have here is making the assumption that these small little changes do not add up.
Right.
Because the truth is that's how it's actually done, because I could say to somebody, well, just no matter what you do, just drink a glass of water first thing in the morning. Just do that one thing. Just do that one thing. And they'll be like, no, that's not going to work. And then I'm like, well, just try it, because you might actually see if you drink water first thing in the morning, you'll be less likely to crave sugar. You'll rehydrate immediately. You'll start your day off right. You'll make better decisions later on. But there's an assumption made a lot of the times that like these small changes don't add up, and they do. They add up big time, So it's why we're so big on these small, simple things like water first thing in the morning, having protein at every meal, surrounding your plate with lots of veggies and good fats. Like, those are simple things that you can do that add up when done consistently. Like, you're unstoppable. You can achieve anything with your health. You can turn it around,
Exactly.
Was it Go ahead.
You know what I realized? A lot of this comes around the idea of fear. I think we all have so much fear of change, and because if you cover all the topics that we went over today, a lot of it can be all grouped under fear. Is we all have fear of change and fear of the unknown, or it's crazy to think that we let fear make us anxious or create that person on your shoulder that tells you can't do it. And wow. So that is exactly why we always tell people to get the why. Go back to get a strong why and understand and always remind yourself why you're doing this. Let that fear just get kicked off your shoulder and have that strong why to reset yourself always, because we're going to need it. It's not going to be easy in the beginning. It'll take time, but fear is the biggest thing that I can put all these little subjects under.
Well, I'm so glad you brought that up. And one of the things I've kind of gotten to the point where I don't think that fear is going to disappear if we're trying to change. I think fear is always going to be present. It's only natural because our being is like stepping into unknown territory, and it's only natural for our senses to go, is this okay? Is this safe? You know what I mean? But what you said there with the intention, if we have strong enough intention, a real deep rooted why, we've like felt into our hearts, it means something to us, then we can let that guide us and go through the fear. So I think when a lot of people feel fear, they run away. They're like, this isn't good. I feel fear. This is not safe. I'm going to go back to doing what I was doing. And there's an identity that doesn't want to give up itself. It wants to stay alive. I think the trick is feeling that fear and doing the thing anyway, and having courage. I think courage is the antidote for fear. It's being brave. And being okay with uncertainty and not knowing how it's going to go. That's where bravery and courage is like so needed. Like you've got a whole family and everyone's sitting around, eating, unhealthy food and doing all this. It takes one person to be brave and stand up, and they might feel fear, but say, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to choose something different, and I'm going to see how this goes. And that's brave. And then they do it. And then everyone else is like, whoa, someone's really brave. Whoa, you kind of inspired me to be brave. Let's do it, but, fear. What is the acronym? Like, face everything and rise. Yeah. That's face everything and rise. I think it's really good the way to look at it, and just have courage and just do the thing anyway.
It is. It's because people have that fear of getting started, the fear of it's not working, or so it's just that idea of just get to it, try it out. You never know. You cannot let fear just completely stop you. You need to overcome it, because you will be so much stronger and you will achieve so much more if you just give it a try.
Yeah. And amazing things happen to fear when you actually just do the thing. Like the fear tends to go away, and then there's another thing. It's like, why don't you try doing this? It's like, you'll have fear doing that. It just keeps going, So, all right.
We do have a lot of people that are tuning in saying good morning. So I'm super happy to have people here with us today, joining us. And I know a lot of people can't join us and they'll watch later. So we always appreciate everyone participating and giving their comments. Speaking of, I do have a question from Alex.
Okay.
We had one pop up, and it's about the bulletproof coffee. He would like to know more about the scoop sizes of the coffee, the clarified butter, and the oil. And he wants to know more, how is it good and how is it not good for the body in terms of drinking bulletproof coffee?
Yeah. So for those that don't know, bulletproof coffee is taking black coffee, preferably something good, organic, healthy coffee, and putting in, we used to say a tablespoon of butter, but now we find that's a little bit too much butter. So we're backing off to maybe a teaspoon of butter, and then a teaspoon of coconut oil or MCT oil, which is a derivative of coconut oil. And I like to add a little cinnamon on top. And then you froth it all up, and it's like, tastes wonderful. It's delicious. Even better is if you pour in a little collagen in there. That way you can get some protein that's good for your skin and stuff. But bulletproof coffee, I find, is a wonderful tool for people who are coming from that standard American diet where they've been eating a lot of refined carbohydrates that are super high in sugar, right? And going back to simple habits, drinking bulletproof coffee and maybe a glass of water, definitely a glass of water before, maybe 30 minutes before, is like one of the best things you can do to change a habit and shift your metabolism at the beginning of the day. So if you start your day with quality fats and protein, and this is why you get a little extra boost if you put the collagen in there, you change where your body's getting your energy. No longer are you getting it from sugar, like if you're putting a bunch of honey in there or you had toast and cereal. You're now forcing your body to get it from fat, so you become fat adapted. You start burning fat much easier. And then because the protein and the fat are very satiating, you can go longer periods of time without eating and you'll have less sugar cravings. So it changes the behavior for the rest of the day based on what you do at the very beginning of the day. There's also a lot of benefits to putting in those fats in your body. It's very beneficial for your energy, your mood, and your cognition. So your brain is made up of fat. So you start uploading it with lots of good nutritious fats from like grass-fed butter and the coconut oil or MCT oil. You start nourishing it. So a lot of people's, their energy, their focus, their mood is heightened. And because you're adding fat into it, the caffeine drips into your body at a slower pace. So rather, if you just have black coffee with sugar or just black coffee on its own, you get a big burst of caffeine coming to your body right away, and you'll have a big crash. But with the bulletproof coffee, with the fat, it's more of a prolonged kind of drip release of caffeine in your body, which is much better. So yeah, big benefits are energy, mood, cognition, and getting you fat adapted at the beginning of the day. It's like the oldest trick in the world is if you can start your day with protein and fat and not carbohydrates. That's it right there. Like if you don't do any 30-day challenge, you just change your breakfast. That's it. Do that, because I guarantee you'll feel better for the rest of the day.
Right.
So very good question.
Yes, and that is the only question we have for today.
Awesome.
So it's a nice short episode. I really enjoyed it. Covered a lot of great things that people are going through right now. So it's really, really great to hear, and different ways to go about actually getting through the challenges and making sure your resolutions happen for the year.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, we want to keep everybody going, because you guys are so awesome, and just know that you can do anything if you just start with something that you can get a small win with, stay consistent, keep going, you're unstoppable. Awesome. Yeah, it was a great conversation. And yeah, if anybody watches this later, have any questions, let us know. And also if you have any topics that you'd like us to cover, just put them in here, we'll jot them down, and hopefully we'll get to it. So
definitely. Well, everyone have a great week, and I really enjoyed this. I love doing these every week with you. They're so fun, and I love the comments that people say, and they learn so much. So this is something I really, really look forward to every single week. So thank you again, Chad, for a great talk.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good day.
All right. Have a good day. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.